I'm Brian Larkin, just like the street, and I'm running for District 1 Supervisor. My family and I have lived in the Richmond District since 1985, and all three of my daughters attended San Francisco Public Schools, most recently Julianne, who, having successfully completed her course of study at Oregon Elementary, is now attending Star of the Sea. She needs that Catholic school discipline. I'm an engineer by training and work experience. That experience included 7 years with Chevron and almost 10 years at BART. My formal academic education concluded with a master's degree in mechanical engineering from UC Berkeley. My public service includes being a member of 3 public transportation-related citizens advisory committees. I'm also the commander of the San Francisco Cadet Squadron of the Civil Air Patrol, or CAP. CAP is a civilian auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force and conducts most of the domestic air searches for lost people on airplanes. It also has a cadet program for young people ages 12 through 20, which I participated in decades ago. My main reasons for running for district supervisor came from my service on the Citizens Advisory Committees. First, while on the Geary Corridor Committee, I found that the Transportation Authority was proposing a bus rapid transit system, BRT, on Geary. The TA favors an expensive, elaborate system, which I oppose for 2 reasons. First, a simple system can improve bus service in a year or 2 at a fraction of the cost. Secondly, and the thing that I fear most, is what I call a nightmare scenario. Say the city does build a $200 to $300 million BRT system along Geary. Before it is even built, its effectiveness will be compromised as designers make concessions to various interest groups on things that will limit how well it works. Once built, advocates for increased housing will point to the enormous cost of our new system and use that to justify building high-rise housing projects all along the corridor. Well-connected developers will get the right to build and sell that housing, and our neighborhood will have changed from a functional community with adequate infrastructure to an overpopulated mess. The winners will be the developers and their friends. The losers will be the rest of us. Understand that I am not against increased density in the Richmond. With increasing energy costs and even shortages, that's inevitable. But we as a community, through our elected representatives, need to make sure that when the changes in density come, that they come with the commensurate improvements in all aspects of our infrastructure, including police and fire services, schools, and things as mundane as underground power lines and communication lines. Another reason for my running was something that I found while serving on the CAC to the Transportation Authority. Requests for Proposition K transportation funds come through the TA via the CC to the Plans and Programs Committee of the Board of Supervisors. When I voted in favor of Proposition K, I expected that the money would go to building, maintaining, and operating our transit system. Most of it does, but good projects do go wanting, and part of the reason for that is the amount of money spent on peripheral items. The example that was most appalling to me thus far was a request for $250,000 to do outreach in the Bayview and Tenderloin neighborhoods to let people know that they could save $10 on their fast passes. Not a dollar of that money went to paying for fast passes. It was only to pay people to tell other people about the program. That was just one example of what I consider a misuse of funds, and I didn't even have to go looking for it. It found me. I believe we are coming into a period of challenges, among them the increased cost of energy that I mentioned earlier. We need to start meeting those challenges now at every level of government, local, state, and national. My agenda is to start making those changes now, here in the Richmond. I want a simple BRT system in the near term, followed in the longer term by a metro extension out Geary. It should be in a tunnel as far as reasonably possible, and every increase in the price of gasoline makes a longer tunnel more reasonable. We should put our utilities underground. Strong winds left many of us without power last winter. Those storms are likely to get worse with increased global warming. Our children should be attending neighborhood schools, not riding buses to schools across town. To survive, let alone thrive in the future, they're going to need all the education we can provide for them. And whatever there is to be learned from riding on a bus for an hour or 2 a day, they can absorb in about 2 weeks tops. I should note that I'm weak on foreign policy experience, but nonetheless, I hope that on November 4th, you choose me to represent you on the Board of Supervisors. The board could stand a little adult supervision. Remember, Larkin, just like the street.
SF Votes. The League of Women Voters has joined with your public, educational, and government cable stations to provide the election information you need. SF Votes. Meet the candidates, learn about the city's ballot measures, and find out how you can make your voice heard. SF Votes, grassroots, independent, complete election coverage you can find nowhere else. Brought to you by the League of Women Voters, Access SF, EATV, and SFGTV.